Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we learn about when we might learn more. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including Nintendo's new president. And then on Thursday, we're coming back to talk to indie developer Neil Sarkar. Real good conversation about Nintendo and how it's informed his entire life and development sensibilities. But that's on Thursday. Until then, Mark, how you doing?
Doing great. I'm just sitting here admiring your Luke Skywalker jacket.
I went to Disneyland over the weekend. I bought Luke Skywalker's jacket from The Empire Strikes Back. It's not a prop from the movie. I don't know why I introduced it like maybe it is. But it's
better because you can actually wear it.
Yeah, and it makes me very happy. It's like his flight jacket. So he's wearing it like on Bespin. He probably takes it off when he's on Dagobah.
But he has it on Dagobah.
He has it, for sure.
If you saw it, you would recognize it.
That's right. And you would be like, how much did you spend on this, Patrick? And I would say that's none of your business. Finances are a personal matter.
Question. Yeah, we've been talking a lot about jackets tonight because I'm trying to wear hoodies less.
Ugh, Mark. I mean, I know I'm
not forsaking them entirely. I'm just trying to look a little more put together.
I mean, we all reach that point in our lives where we say, maybe I should be a little bit more put together. And then we're just like, I'm just going to slouch into whatever I got going on here.
Too much work.
Look, before we get started, we need you guys to help us out. We would love for you to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Every time we get a review, we are one closer to possibly going to E3 this year.
And we're pretty close at this point.
We're pretty close, but that doesn't mean that you should relax about it. We still need your review so we can get to 50, just like in The Princess Bride, not to 50, but this time, yes to 50. Vote yes on 50. Special thanks to The Fourth Stranger, Z-Mouse, and Buster01234 for leaving us 5-star reviews this week. We appreciate it. Also, if you're reviewing us on other platforms or not the American Apple Podcast Store, we appreciate it.
But we can't see it.
We just can't see it. So if you have a special request in there or
like guest weather,
you can also email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com.
Let us know you left a review on another store.
And we'll believe you. We trust you.
We're trusting people.
We are trusting people. I guess on that note, my copy of Sonic Forces is still out in the wild somewhere. No one knows where it is.
But we're not giving up hope. We've left a candle lit for them.
That's right. And the door is always open. The door to my apartment is always open and unlocked, and anyone can wander in.
Return the copy of Sonic Forces.
That's
Nobody's
right.
going to be mad.
We are possibly too trusting, yet here we are. If you would like to get on the list to possibly one day borrow my copy of Sonic Forces, email your address to Nintendo Cartridge Society
@gmail.com.
I was running out of breath.
Is that a violation of the rules?
No.
I don't think so.
It still works. I think that's only the second time in this show's history that it hasn't been perfect. So I say let's cut ourselves a little slack, Mark. We're human beings. The other thing that you could use that email address for is you could participate in our episode that's going to come out when, Mark?
June 7th.
June 7th, we are going to be determining once and for all which is the best Pokemon starter.
But we need your feedback.
Yeah, because honestly, Mark and I aren't great at the Pokemon games.
I'm kind of leaning towards Pikachu right now.
And last time I said I just don't want to hear Pikachu because I feel like it's a cheat. I feel like it should be, of the three like main elemental types of Pokemon from starters, your leafy guys, your fiery guys, and your water guys. Pikachu's not any of those things, Mark. But anyway,
He's special.
He is special. If you have a particular favorite and you want us to make sure that we are repping them instead of just saying Bulbasaur over and over again, which we might do, I don't know, you should write into us with your recommendations and a well-reasoned argument as to why that is the best Pokemon.
You can also tweet it at us.
That's right. We are at Nincart Society. I'm just at Patrick_Ellers and Mark is at MKE Mitchell. And we can, we would love to hear that on those platforms as well. And we can argue in real time, which is appealing to me. All right, Mark, are you ready to get into what we've been playing this week?
Let's do it.
We'll get into it in greater detail next week. But I've been playing South Park: The Fractured But Whole. It is the first South Park game that I've played since the racing game that was on Nintendo 64. It was like a
I don't remember that.
Some Mario Kart style. Not great. But the Fractured But Whole so far is quite fun. It has made me laugh, genuine laughs. Like I was out at a bar in LA with headphones in, because this is the kind of cool guy I am. My headphones in and I'm playing this game. Sitting at a table by myself and laughing out loud. I'm sure people were looking at me, but I was too engrossed in the game. But we will speak more on that, I believe, next week.
And I've been playing more Stardew Valley. I actually started my Switch with the intention of not playing Stardew Valley, but I had put it to sleep while I was already in the game.
Right.
And so when it started up, I was like, oh, right, I meant to catch that fish because I'm trying to complete the bundles for the community center, and it's summer right now, and, this is one of those fish that I can catch during this season, so I might as well go do it. Oh, there's a festival tomorrow. I'll get that taken care of, because I don't actually like the festivals that much.
Because it interrupts, like, your regular...
It disrupts, like the stuff I actually want to get done.
This is weirdly enough how I feel about actually going on vacation in real life. Even though I like the vacation, I'm just so content with my routine that's slowly killing me. I don't want that interrupted for nothing.
Speaking of Stardew Valley, they started doing the multiplayer beta on PC. I think it's coming. All the multiplayer stuff is coming to Switch later this year.
Yeah, I believe they originally pitched it as coming first to Switch.
Maybe on consoles.
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
First on consoles. We had mentioned it, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago, but neither of us knew what it was. But now we know. There's some extra, or we know about some of it. There's some extra single player content. Yeah. We're gonna tease it out.
Yeah.
Just meter out a little bit of information at a time. There is some single player content coming, but as far as multiplayer goes, you and another person can create a farm together. And
so is this separate from your main farm?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
It seems like you would either start a new game or I would invite you into mine or something like that. The only thing is that our inventories are separate.
Okay.
But we could marry each other.
All right.
But you bought Stardew Valley and you haven't played a bunch of it, right?
That's correct. And I could use another person who's doing it and making things happen while I'm not there to make me go oh man, I got to get in there. And,
so I feel like when this comes out, we should start a farm together.
All right. We're going to do it. We're going to start the Nintendo Cartridge Society farm, and it'll be a glorious thing. And maybe we'll get married. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be like that ranch in Oregon that is featured in Wild Wild Country.
Sure. I still haven't seen Wild Wild Country.
Don't. It'll ruin it for you. Just trust that it's a positive thing.
All right, I'll assume that that's the case. I did see that the sketch on Saturday Night Live about it, so I feel like I know everything.
You have enough information.
I continue to play God of War, which is not a Nintendo game, but it is occupying a lot of my video game space right now. I'm in the end game, and am very happy with the game as a whole. Would gladly talk about God of War for the next 10 minutes, but it feels off-brand for us, right?
Yes, maybe a 433 in the future.
I also don't really want to spoil anything because the game takes some very nice turns that I didn't see coming. I am normally of the opinion that I don't believe in spoilers, but I understand where other people do, so I shan't spoil anything about God of War on the
Well,
show.
let's pencil it in. A year from now,
1 year from now,
we will talk about God of War
spoilers during a 433.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
All right, kind of a lighter week for new releases. Today the Neo Geo game. Oh no! Tomorrow, the Neo Geo game Stakes Winner is being released.
It's a horse racing game,
and I guess really like the only thing I personally care about this week is on Friday, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, we can cut to the chase on this one. I think that's okay. I just one thing I want to say about Stakes Winner. It's a horse racing game, but it is not Pocket Card Jockey. We already have Pocket Card Jockey. I don't know why we would need a second horse racing game. There, I've said my piece.
I guess maybe for people who aren't interested in the card aspect.
Look, Mark.
They must exist.
I understand where you're coming from, but Pocket Card Jockey is already a perfect horse racing game.
It's a perfect game.
It cannot be improved upon. I don't know what. I mean, I guess Stakes Winner already beat it to the punch on account of it's a Neo Geo game, but we already have Pocket Card Jockey. The only thing you care about this week, Mark,
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. We have played it a little bit on the Wii U. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am very excited for this Funky Kong mode.
Oh, okay.
Because I am very into getting further into this game without killing myself. Here's the thing I'm hoping, fingers crossed, is that Funky Kong also makes the rocket barrels much easier.
How is he going to do that?
I don't know.
How is he going to make those rocket barrel levels? So you're still going to have rocket barrels. You're still going to have mine carts. There's still going to be like intensely memorized
mine carts
levels.
Are fun.
Okay.
The rocket barrel levels I have never found entertaining.
They are troublesome. Yeah. So you're picking this game up when it comes out on Friday?
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you going to jump? So the Funky Kong mode, right? Funky Kong mode? What are we calling it?
I feel comfortable calling it Funky mode.
Okay, that's what whatever it's called canonically, we are calling it Funky mode. Are you going to jump right into that? Or are you going to try it with like Donkey and his ilk first?
Well, I've only ever played it in multiplayer, but if you play by yourself, do you still have two apes?
Yes.
Kongs?
I believe you do, yes.
Then I will probably have Funky as a secondary Kong.
Yeah. So just pulling them right in, right away.
I think so. Maybe not for those like levels that I don't know. How easy is it to switch Kongs? Not very.
I mean, it's a between levels kind of thing.
Oh,
right?
okay. Then I don't know. Maybe I'll like just use.
Here's what they should do. They should just introduce a mode where you've got a trail of Kongs behind you, and you can always just keep swapping them out.
Right.
So you've got them all the time. I really liked Tropical Freeze. I don't know that I will be double dipping on this.
Yeah, I don't really see a reason if you already own it on Wii U to buy it again, especially for $10 more.
You're right. $10 more and like 3 years later
than what you originally bought it for.
I mean, other than if I had like a trip or something coming up, an opportunity to play it on the go. That's the eternal appeal of the Switch is like, but now you can play it on the plane, which would be super cool. And I did play the original Donkey Kong Country Returns a lot more when it came to 3DS for that very reason. So I don't know. This is a someday purchase for me. All right, Mark, let's get out of the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, you've selected our topic today. Please introduce it.
We're going to rank the 3 Toy Story movies.
We're going to rank, so just the 3 Toy Story movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we only have 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
I understand that. So just 3 Toy Story movies.
A definitive ranking.
Okay. Do you come into this with any, like, do you have like a preconception of what you think the order is?
I think 2 is the best.
You think 2 is the best. I think I probably think 3 is the best. But I can understand an argument about 2.
I feel like 3 is basically a retelling of 2. Like, they hit a lot of the same emotional beats.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the movies hit a lot of the same emotional beats,
but I mean, like,
right?
even specifically, there's, that big, like, there's the purple bear in 3. They're like, he's nice. Oh, no, he's bad.
Prospector, right.
Prospector.
Right. And, like, the theme of, I guess, both 2 and 3 is, like, outliving what your perceived usefulness and then finding new purpose, right?
Right.
But for me, and I think I like 3 as much as I do because it has the junkyard scene through the end of the movie. And I think that's where 3 is the strongest, where the characters almost die, where the toys almost die, Mark. And then they are like at peace with dying. They're all like holding hands and are about to be sucked into this furnace thing. Then they are miraculously saved, whatever. And then are able to make a new child happy. And I think that part of that movie is just solid magic. Like unrepeatable, beautiful, first 7 minutes of Up magic.
Did you know they are trying to repeat it? There's going to be a 4th Toy Story next year.
I mean, there's going to be a new Star Wars movie every year until we die. This is just what happens to us, right?
Yeah, but that's true. But they didn't, like, put a perfect bow, although they've done that before. Toy Story 2 had a perfect bow at the end of it.
Right.
Toy Story 3 has the perfect
bow.
This is the end, like, for real this time.
Right. And it'll just never be the end. Things that we love don't die anymore because they will make someone money. So what do you think? Give me your whoa, hold on. Number 1 has no chance of being number 1.
I don't think so, even though it's a really good movie.
It is a really good movie. I think it shows its age in a way that the other Toy Story movies don't.
Visually, for sure.
And actually, does 2 show its age a little bit?
Also, yeah, totally. Visually, absolutely.
Yeah.
3 is by far the best looking one. 1, the first movie, like, we kind of take for granted how good it is because a lot of the sequences have just become, like, ingrained in the culture, but like the stuff at Sid's house is scary but like cool. The Pizza Planet sequence with the little green aliens,
that's all very iconic.
Like now like it's old hat because they're everywhere.
It's like watching Napoleon Dynamite,
right?
And you're like, I've heard all these, or Borat. You're like, I've heard and seen all this stuff in different worse contexts, and so I hate it all now.
Right.
That's an interesting
but
theory.
I don't think it's necessarily better than the other 2 movies.
Right, but it is foundational in not just for the Toy Story mythos, but also just like for Pixar and like their storytelling sensibility and all of that. Why do I like 3 as much as I do? If you were to rank them right now, would you go 2, 3, 1?
I think so, yeah.
And I think I would go 3, 2, 1. So I think the only thing we can say definitively is that so far, we still have like a minute. Is that number 1 is number 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, Mark, how are we gonna break this down? How are we gonna like? What do we? So Prospector versus Big Purple Bear.
I mean, Prospector is better.
In what way?
He's first.
He is
like
first.
Big Purple Bear. You're like, you see it coming a mile away.
Yes.
Because you're like, we've already seen this movie.
Here's the thing. I'm fine with revisiting themes and being like, oh, we'll do them right this time. We won't screw around. This time it's going to be... And I think 3 has the elements of horror that 1 has in, like, when the kindergarten kids show up. I think it is as scary and as chaotic as the Sid's house stuff. So I think it manages to reprise both the themes from Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 as breathlessly and heartfeltedly as they did in their first go-rounds.
How much time do we have?
We've got like I think the video timed out for a second, but we've got maybe like 30 more seconds.
Okay.
Isn't there a funny sequence with like the Ken doll in the third one?
I don't remember, like Barbie's Dream House.
Yeah.
I will say I think that you make a compelling argument just then when you're talking about like a combination of the best moments of 2 and 1.
Oh well, I guess
we'll
we'll never
sure.
know. We were accompanied today by a pianist and a cellist, and the video was uploaded by Justin Trigger, but it didn't bother to mention who the musicians were. So, thanks, Justin. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Splatoon 2 version 3.0 was released this past week. This major update includes the new X rank for ranked battles, new music, over 100 pieces of new gear, and a couple of new weapons, a new stage, or I guess like a stage from original Splatoon that's been recreated here.
Camp Triggerfish?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And tons of fixes and game adjustments. Also, Callie is back.
Callie's back.
After players meet a, quote, certain condition, she will appear at Tentacle Outpost in Octo Canyon. This is all kind of like in preparation for the Octo expansion DLC that's launching this summer.
Cool. I love always when Splatoon gets updated, and it always makes me want to go back to it, and I very seldom do.
X rank is so like far away from anything that I could ever possibly achieve.
I mean, you have to be playing ranked matches, right?
Right.
I have done a ranked match, but I have never like played ranked.
I'm so bad at, like, I think I'm still C- on every, which is your starting rank on every single game mode.
Yeah,
in ranked matches.
Because like, well, don't you just want to have fun? Don't you just want to play and have fun?
But the interesting thing about X rank is you have to be S plus 10, and then they will automatically like upgrade you to S rank, to X rank. But your X rank only lasts for 1 month. So at the end of every month, if you don't
have to re-earn
maintain it, then you drop back down to S plus 9, and you have to like re-earn X rank.
Wow, and then it's just like every month goes down 1 until it gets to S plus 0, and then you die. It's all just a countdown to death. If any of our listeners are playing Splatoon to the point where they are like within spitting distance of X rank, I would love to hear of your experience with that, and also what it means to have like a new rank there for you. Email us nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com.
Speaking of Splatoon 2, Nintendo is going to be holding its first ever tournament style Splatfest. Patrick, this one I feel speaks to you very directly.
Mark, you know that it does.
It features the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Beginning this weekend, May 4th, 2 different turtles are going to be pitted against each other until the ultimate turtle and a half shell is crowned.
I love this, Mark.
So you're looking for a reason to get back into Splatoon 2, and maybe this is it.
Yeah.
So round 1 happening this weekend is wait,
you wrote Ralph versus Leo.
Yeah.
I changed it to Raph versus Leo because there is no turtle named Ralph. There's only a Raphael.
It really threw me off. So Raph versus Leo. Then next week's round 2 is Mikey versus Donnie. They all sound like boy band members, not the turtle men that I know them to be.
That's right. They are teenagers, famously, just as famously as they are both ninjas and turtles. Yeah, I love this. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are some of my favorite. They are like, if there is a nerdy property that I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in it just because it is that, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I love like each of these turtles has been my favorite at one point in my fandom. And I am super excited to rep the turtles that I like in this now. I'm too excited even to express myself here.
And then May 18th, the 2 turtles from previous weeks will be pitted against each other.
Yes.
To crown an ultimate winner. Patrick, who are you going for in round 1?
So round 1 is Raphael versus Leonardo. Raphael versus Leonardo. I gotta go Leo on this one. I was a big Raph guy growing up, and especially when I was a teenager, because I was like, yeah, he's cool and dark and edgy and whatever. But Leonardo got a lot of responsibility.
Remind me everybody's weapons. That's all.
Sure.
That's the only way I know.
Raphael is red mask size, and Leonardo is blue mask katana. So of those two, which way do you go? You don't care about the Ninja Turtles at all.
It's not that I don't care. It's that I don't know anything about them. Like, I watched the cartoon as a child, but I haven't really kept up on it.
Yeah,
recently.
My way into it now is the Ninja Turtles comics, which I love. They are among my favorite comics. They are the first thing that I read every week, or every week that they come out. But I think this is a tie-in for the new Nickelodeon
TV show. That's right. It has some name that I didn't bother to write down. Mikey versus Donatello. Donnie.
Yep. Michelangelo versus Donatello. Michelangelo is my current favorite Ninja Turtle because he has emotional intelligence that the other turtles lack. And I am jealous of his social skills.
Is Donatello the most radical? Like, was he the one? I feel like everybody.
No, Donatello does machines. He's the dork.
Okay.
He wears the purple mask and has a bow staff.
Who loved pizza the most in the cartoon?
Probably Michelangelo.
Okay, yeah.
Michelangelo is a party dude. Party has an orange mask and carries nunchucks. But he is my current favorite. I will be repping him in round 2, and if he doesn't make it to the final round, I don't think I'll play the final round.
Because he's your ultimate favorite.
He is my ultimate favorite, yeah.
I think this is really fun. I would like to see them doing more of this in the future.
Yeah, and I mean, even just, so, like, pairing it up with, like, a pop culture thing is cool, but also having this sort of, like, tournament style to it. The fact that I'll be thinking about playing Splatoon for 3 consecutive weekends. What is that? What?
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this.
As part of their report on monthly video game sales, data firm NPD reported that in March, Kirby Star Allies had the best debut month sales in Kirby franchise history.
Hey, congratulations, Star Allies.
Beating previous record holder, it was 2002's Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland for GBA. By 90%.
Whoa.
But, okay, so NPD publicly reports revenue, not units sold. So you're talking about a GBA game, which I think was $30.
$30, yeah, I don't know.
Versus a $60 game.
Sure,
Still,
but it beat it by 90%.
Yes.
Which is, I guess, not as much as the price difference. But it is still an impressive feat.
It's an impressive feat, for sure. I don't think I wrote it down, but the game has sold over like 1 million copies worldwide already.
Good for Kirby Star Allies, and I feel like a deserving game, even if it's a little bit on the short side. Like, still a super fun multiplayer experience, and maybe the cutest game on the Switch right now.
Nintendo announced their 2017 fiscal year earnings results last week. And so we learned a little bit more about just like how the Switch is doing, how they say it's doing in the future, general company things. Some of the highlights of that: Switch sold 15.05 million units for all of fiscal year 2017. That doesn't include the launch month, which was the final quarter of
the previous
2016.
Year, right. Which is when both you and I bought our Switches.
Yes, that's right. So they have sold 17.79 million Switches lifetime to date.
That's an impressive number.
It's an impressive number. This fiscal year, they're projecting to sell 20 million. So do even better this year than they did last year.
That's a lot of Switches. Didn't the PlayStation just cross the 79 million threshold mark? PlayStation 4?
I believe so.
Man, it's amazing how much hardware is being moved right now. People want machines to play video games on.
Also, they said that Nintendo is going to be supporting the 3DS beyond 2019.
Are we surprised by this, or are we?
I guess I'm not anymore.
Right.
Like, if you had said this a year ago, I would have thought you were crazy.
Right.
But they keep trickling out games that are going to be coming out. They're definitely not launching on a consistent basis. It almost seems like they're doing like maybe one major game a quarter. But
which
are
is a
definitely
much
still
slower pace.
Coming out with 3DS games. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, will you be getting the Luigi's Mansion remake that comes to 3DS? Like, for me, it feels like it has to be a special title.
Yeah.
For me to pick it up.
Special or like a certain kind, like, so no, I won't get Luigi's Mansion, but I may very well pick up the Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story when it comes out in 2019, because that is the kind of game that I want to take with me, and play on that machine. I don't know if like a uglier version of Luigi's Mansion, which is already, it's like an atmospheric game, so like, I don't know, playing it on a tiny screen is a little bit less engaging as it is. There's already a Luigi's Mansion game there. You know.
If there's anything that worries me about this, if worries me is even the right like phrase, I don't want to see a new Zelda on 3DS. I'm not super excited about like that idea. Those sorts of games I'm hoping will come to Switch instead. But it will not surprise me if we see that Link's Awakening remake show up on 3DS.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm expecting. I'm expecting there to be one more game that we're like, oh, man, I have to play my 3DS so I can play this game. There'll be one more. The last one, I think, was Metroid, right?
Right.
And there'll be one more like that where it's like, you absolutely have to play this game, and you absolutely have to play it on your 3DS.
Some personnel changes. Tatsumi Kimishima is retiring as president of Nintendo on June 28th. He'll remain with the company as an advisor.
And also, we knew that he was like a
kind of like temporary.
Yes, a fill-in, after a substitute president.
Yes, I mean, after Iwata died, he kind of came in to fill the void of like elder statesman.
Yeah.
And just keep the company on track while they found a long-term, because he's older. I think he's in his late 60s.
That's right.
And so he was never a long-term replacement. The new president is going to be Shuntaro oh man, I'm having trouble saying this.
Furukawa?
Yes, yeah. He'll be taking over. Since 2016, he's been Nintendo's managing executive officer, supervisor of corporate analysis and administrative division, and director.
Which is a sexy title. He to your point of Kimishima being an older gentleman, this dude is 46, I believe
so, yeah.
So he is on the younger side. And before Iwata, Nintendo presidents had sort of a long tenure. His predecessor before, I think, had the position for like 40 or 50, like a super long time, longer than you think of Nintendo's history even being, right? So, you know, maybe we're getting into like back into a like place of stability for leadership at the company. And I guess, you know, it hasn't been like that for a while. But it'll be interesting to see what happens under a little bit more like permanent leadership.
Furukawa is a big gamer. He most recently he's been playing a lot of Golf Story. In fact, he claimed in an interview that it was his favorite Switch game.
Great. I like having a gamer at the helm. Even, you know, we were reading stories about Nintendo hiring like a new crop of talent that isn't just gamers. But there's something like reassuring about knowing that like the guy in charge likes to play games. I like folding cardboard too, but like I like to play games.
He also, there was something I was going to say that we didn't write down about him, but I can't remember what it is now. So if I think of it, well, I don't know what I'll do with that information.
Interrupt whatever's happening.
Yeah,
and then we'll talk about it.
Also, Shinya Takahashi and Yoshiaki Koizumi got promoted as well. They've been having a lot more visibility with like, because they were both leads on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was going to say. Furukawa, in his like initial interviews following the announcement of him becoming president, was saying that his vision for Nintendo, part of that is focusing on things that only Nintendo can do.
Interesting.
So I don't think we should expect
Mother
another
3?
like we should expect another, you know, like GameCube type situation where they're trying to compete in hardware specs. You know, Nintendo for a long time has kind of been marching to the beat of its own drum, and we shouldn't expect their next console to be a Xbox competitor necessarily. It could be.
Right. But I guess the big takeaway there is that like this is not someone who's going to like take Nintendo's stuff and like put it on other platforms or whatever. Like he's going to carry the torch of like Nintendo is a unique platform, and it does what it does, and no one else does that.
New filing with the FCC suggests that Nintendo is looking to address their left Joy-Con problem by releasing an entirely new iteration of the controller. This seemed to be a problem more when the Switch initially launched.
Mm-hmm.
But basically what was happening is that the left Joy-Con would desync from the Switch, seemingly due to the placement of an internal antenna.
Mm-hmm.
And Nintendo said initially when this was a problem back in like March that they had made like a manufacturing change, like in the way that the Joy-Con was assembled. It looks like they are now going to just like they have a more definitive fix for it.
Right, like it's a more like just it is a new version of the Joy-Con.
No word on when we can expect to see new Joy-Cons like on store shelves and bundles or included with new systems. It's not something they're going to announce. That it'll just like quietly be seeded into the supply chain, and then somebody
eventually
will like
will just
crack it open,
right,
and we'll notice that they have a new one.
And meanwhile, those of us that have these old crappy Joy-Cons will have these collector's items.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
Have you experienced any of the left Joy-Con?
I haven't. It's not something that I ran into with my launch unit.
Yeah, me either. But I like that they are being addressed, and that if I do ever go for another set of Joy-Cons, which I think I probably will at some point, that won't be a worry that I will have.
We also learned from Koei Tecmo's earnings report that Fire Emblem Warriors has shipped 1 million units worldwide, combined between the Switch and new 3DS version.
Good point.
I thought this was interesting, only that I thought this game bombed and bombed hard, because it came out last year in September. It was a September release.
Wasn't it an October release? It came out like 2 days before Odyssey.
Yes, it was an October release.
Right.
And
like October 25th or 6th or something like that.
And nobody cared. Except...
Well, you and I didn't talk about
it. And I feel like we're representative of the world. But no, clearly the game was more successful than I realized.
Yeah.
And I guess that maybe bodes well for Hyrule Warriors coming out on Switch.
I mean, Hyrule Warriors, I think, also has the probably benefit of Wii U owners have played it and are probably interested in playing like a more definitive version of it, especially because a lot of the DLC only came to
the 3DS.
The 3DS, and people who played it on the 3DS probably want to play a version of it that works and has all the content. I'm saying there's like a more of a fan base already built up.
And it has the Zelda name.
Right, which, I mean...
It's an easier sell, if nothing else.
Maybe. I don't know if that's actually true, if the Zelda name is really a bigger pull than Fire Emblem. I know that we think it is. And, like, for us, we're like, yeah, obviously give me the Zelda thing instead of the Fire Emblem thing. But I think the people who like Fire Emblem really like Fire Emblem.
I think that's true, but if you are Sam Everyman...
Sure.
Or woman.
Right. Sam Everywoman.
Walking into a store to buy a video game, and you have the choice between Fire Emblem or Zelda. If your Zelda has more brand like cash.
Okay, so it says Hyrule Warriors on it.
But there's like
Zelda.
But like the elf man is standing there. You know, you recognize the
elf
man.
Zelda himself is standing there. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're talking about someone's mom going to
Sam Everywoman, mother of 3,
right?
She's a single mom. She works hard.
Wow, that's what happened to Mr. Everywoman?
I don't know.
You just left him?
No, is she? Yeah, sure.
I guess
But she's better off without him.
Sure.
Like, it's not a sad thing.
No.
Yeah.
He was a problem for them, and it's better that he's not there, and he's better without them too, frankly. So like everyone's lives are better since they got a divorce. I can see where she would go for Hyrule Warriors over Fire Emblem Warriors, but I think
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
All right, moving on.
Nintendo announced a new mobile partnership with Cygames and a new mobile game, Dragalia Lost. It's a new mobile RPG. Nintendo also purchased 5% of Cygames outright. So
Nintendo is just getting into, and this is not like the DNA agreement in that didn't DNA also buy part of Nintendo?
I can't remember. I think it was more. You may be right. I've always just thought of it as more of just a partnership, like a business working relationship.
Yeah, sure.
So this doesn't end that. They're still working with DNA in some capacity, but they are looking beyond them to grow their mobile business.
So this Dragalia Lost mobile game, new IP.
New IP, RPG, free to play, so it's, gacha based. I believe Cygames, the company that they are partnering with, has like one of, if not the most popular game in Japan, mobile game in Japan right now. So they are very well versed in the gacha mechanics.
So this game is not currently slated to come out in the West.
I think it is eventually.
Sure.
But it will initially launch in Japan.
That's what currently means.
No, but I mean, it's not out anywhere.
No, I agree with that.
So I'm saying that it is currently slated to be released in the West.
Okay.
At a future date.
I see.
I don't know. This is... I guess I've never really played one of these like free-to-play RPG type things. It has that like anime aesthetic.
Yeah, so it maybe is not for us anyway. It's most free-to-play games with a gacha mechanic, I get turned off to just them wanting me to pay them to continue to play. I sure don't mind paying money up front to play something. That's fine with me.
But I think we're like outliers there.
Probably.
In the mobile space anyways.
For 100%.
Also, Nintendo has said that they're going to be revealing more about the Nintendo Switch online service in early May. So, with our luck, it could be happening like right this minute as we record this.
At 12:01 when this episode posts.
Right, because when we're recording this, it's like Monday morning, or it's Tuesday morning in Japan.
That's right.
And Nintendo has a habit of like dropping news then in the midst of our recording. I usually like get home, check Twitter, and I'm like, darn it.
Darn it, we missed everything. Okay, so we are finding out about more about the online service in May. E3 is in June, so they're getting out in front of E3.
Mm-hmm.
Are they doing that? Why is that happening? Why are we finding out details now and not in their big exciting press conference
thing?
It's
a great question. Are they doing it to so we can get all of our anger out early, like how they announced like the Wii's name about a month before E3, so that way everybody could make all their jokes about it early?
Right. Or is it just that it's also possible that the information that we get in May is just going to be like, here's a date, here's how it works, and you'll find out all the exciting stuff about games in E3.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also possible that that's not what they want to talk about at E3. They just don't want to spend, because this could in itself be a 15-minute presentation that if they release a video, like a 15-minute presentation, when I feel like their E3 main presentation is usually 45 minutes.
Games. Yeah, and that's a good point. And we're gonna get to some information about what the E3. Let's move on.
Let's do it right now. So Nintendo also outlined their E3 plans for this year. Monday, June 11th is the opening rounds of the Splatoon 2 World Championship. And then the final round is on June 12th, followed immediately by the Super Smash Bros. Switch Invitational,
which is going to have pro level Super Smash Bros. Players playing the new Smash Bros. For the first time in a public space, and we'll get to see some of that game in action in the hands of people who know the series the best.
Because that'll be happening in the afternoon of the 12th, because also on June 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Nintendo will stream their E3 presentation online like they have for the past few years. It's basically like a special Nintendo Direct for all intents and purposes. It's said to feature games releasing in 2018.
Including, they make special note of mentioning, Smash Brothers.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this will be like the big blowout where we will learn a lot about the game. They said this last year that they are focusing on games released in 2017, but we still got teases for Pokemon Switch, Metroid Prime 4. So that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be any like teases for 2019 and beyond, but
both of those teases, it should be noted, are like the teasiest teases in video game history.
One is a logo, and
the
one
other
is
not
dude,
even a logo.
Just like sitting at a desk, being like, "Hey, everybody, chill out."
Right? Like, I know we have to do this.
Yeah,
he's not even really saying like there is a game. He's like, I understand there's a need for
right. He's like, yeah,
it's next on my list of things to do.
Yeah, I'm getting to it, people.
I would get to it a lot faster if my door stayed closed. Thank you.
We're going to be recording and posting our reactions to the presentation around noon on Tuesday, so you won't have to wait an entire week to hear us bloviate about it.
That we will bloviate on command immediately after. It'll be just like last year when we were right there. We'll probably stick around a little bit into the Treehouse presentation,
right? Because we made the mistake last year of not doing that, and
we waited a little bit.
Around?
We stuck around.
Oh, right, because that's where Samus Returns was revealed.
That's right, and we were ready to talk about that. And then that game came out, and we played it, and we've all moved on. Like it's amazing. The just like thinking about I'm playing God of War now, and just how long it's been since God of War was announced. And then it came out like 2 or 3 years later or whatever. And now it's so funny to me that Metroid like was announced, popped up in a thing, we played it, it's done, it's gone, and it's over.
Yeah.
And we're just on to the next thing.
Speaking of Treehouse Live, they're going to be doing that again this year. So right after the presentation on the morning of the 12th, all the way through the end of E3 on June 14th, Nintendo Treehouse staff will be doing a live stream from the show floor, showing off gameplay and interviews, and they specifically call out that they will be starting first with Super Smash Brothers for Switch.
Pretty amazing. I'm excited for this. There's nothing, not nothing. There are many things exciting in life. But one of them is learning what characters are in the new Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah,
game.
It's the only thing that keeps us going.
It's the only. Once we know that information and this game comes out, we can all die. As far as I'm concerned,
they've got to have a Smash 6. Otherwise,
sure. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. What do we have to look forward to? So Smash is obviously going to have a huge presence at E3 this year. Do you think they'll devote their entire booth to it, like they have the past? 2 years ago it was Breath of the Wild and only Breath of the Wild. Last year was Odyssey and only Odyssey. Do you think their booth, Nintendo's booth at E3 this year, is just going to be the Smash Brothers experience, or do you think we'll go back to what they have done in, like 4 years ago,
past,
or what other companies do, where it's like a grab bag of a bunch of different games?
Well, it's tough because Smash Brothers is, by its very nature, like pulling in lots of other, like if you do everything Breath of the Wild and you turn the booth into Hyrule, or you turn the booth into the Metro Kingdom because it's all Mario Odyssey, like that's a single aesthetic that you can just do. But Smash is so many different things, and I would be willing to believe that it, like, Smash is the cornerstone of their thing, but that however the online structure and whatever like retro game stuff that is tied into this, tied into that, and also Smash will feature there heavily too. Like one of the things that I can't get away from with the online service and Virtual Console and Smash is how closely they're married on the Wii U. Like, you can go into Smash on Wii U and see the games that all those characters are from and play sample versions of them, and then have an option to buy the full game. So, like, if they don't have that in place for Smash Brothers, like, Smash Brothers is there not just to sell old games, but it does sell old games. So, like, I think it's going to be this sort of, like, retro extravaganza and, like, classic games and Smash all as one. I think it's going to be awesome.
And, of course, this is the E3 they're going to be able to play the official localization of Mother 3 in English.
Of course. And that'll actually be what the whole booth is. Everything I just said is wrong.
And it'll be released exclusively on the Wii U.
That's right. or on the Game Boy Advance Classic Edition,
right?
Which will also be announced.
Which will also be announced. Finally,
now we made a bunch of that up. Everything we just said is made up. It's not. We're in the news section, but that was all made up.
Yeah, that's all lies. But this is truth. Finally, Kotaku UK did a ranking of the Kongs a couple of days ago, and if that sounds familiar, it's because we did the same thing a couple of weeks ago, and theirs are crazy and definitely not definitive.
No, so if you have happened upon their list, you should know that we do not endorse their list.
No.
It is no one cleared their list with us.
We're not angry about it.
We're not. Yes, we're not angry about it. We just recognize that their choices are incorrect. Look, Cranky Kong is way too low on their list. He's like number 6 or something.
Yeah, what?
He's the original Donkey Kong. So anyway, if you could all just tweet at Kotaku or Kotaku UK and just let them know that they should really check out our list because it is the definitive one, we would appreciate that very much. All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. And that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you could please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, that would be lovely. If you like the episode, share it on Facebook and Twitter. We love all of that, and it all helps us out tremendously. On Twitter, I am at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and collectively we are at Nin Cart Society. You can check out the Facebook page if that's still something you do. We're just called Nintendo Cartridge Society on there. If you like Mark & Mine's opinions, we write about comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can find more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thanks for listening.
Campfire.